Your Excellency, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 11th edition of the TVE Global Sustainability Film Awards. My name is Karma Wamdi and I'm the head of operations for TVE. I'd like to welcome the co-president of this year's awards and our host for the evening, Cheryl Campbell.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to this, the 11th TVE Global Sustainability Film Awards. I'm Cheryl Campbell and I'm here because for 16 years I was the Chief Executive of TVE. I'm delighted this year as an awards co-president to be able to continue to support the work of this amazing charity. And I want to thank all of you for your support that you're giving TVE by being here today. I now introduce TVE trustee and awards jury chair, Nick Nuttall.
So hello to everybody attending the wonderful Global Sustainability Film Awards 2022, brought to you by TVE. I hope you're all having a marvelous time in London at this fantastic awards event. I'm Nick Nuttall. I'm the chair of the jury for these awards and also a trustee with TVE. I'm also a presenter with a digital TV show called We Don't Have Time. And I've just recently got back from Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, where, as I'm sure you know, the UN Climate Conference COP27 was held and closed only just over a week ago. I want to say first that I hope you enjoy the films that you're going to see this evening, because I think they're amazing, and so do the jury members. And they really hold up a mirror to the enormous challenges that the world is actually facing in terms of climate change or loss of species, biodiversity, but also, you know, the poverty that's happening in the world brought about by things like the climate emergency, which is making it ever more challenging for humanity on this planet. But at the same time, they also hold up a mirror to these films that you will see and hear about tonight, to the enormous creativity happening in the world, the enormous ingenuity, the ideas, the inspiration, and also the determination of humanity to do something about these challenges and build a better world for the future generations to come. So enjoy them and feel part of a journey that we're all on through the lens of these films. I just mentioned I came back from COP27, which, as you know, I'm sure was held in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt this year, in Africa. COP, as they called it, an African UN Climate Conference. Really pleased to see Serena Narula there, the president and also a trustee of TVE, with Karma Wangdi, the head of operations of TVE, actually in Sharm el-Sheikh as well. It's really important that TVE was there, because this is where things are really happening in terms of our agenda at TVE. But also it's important for the people at these conferences to learn about TVE and how TVE is actually sensitizing a global public to, again, the challenges, but also the opportunities for positive change. So very happy to see them both there. I'm sure you've read a lot about COP28. I'm sure that you all have your own ideas about whether it was a success or a failure or something in between. Like most climate conferences, it is something in between. I mean, enormous frustration that governments were actually at one moment during COP27 actually thinking about somehow relinquishing, abandoning the 1.5 degrees centigrade target, which science has told us, and the Paris Agreement of 2015 has informed us, is in fact the safety limit for humanity. And the fact that governments could even consider that they might abandon this would be just, I don't know, conceding to the fact that we can't do anything about climate change, which is not the reality. And I think it was really important, again, that over 200 businesses and companies all around the world stood up within hours of this rumor, in a sense, going around that the 1.5 degree was going to be abandoned. They stood up and said, man by man and woman by woman, no, you don't mess with the 1.5. We are some of the biggest companies in the world. We are acting on climate change, and we are acting on climate change on the basis that we are going to deliver a temperature rise no higher than 1.5 degrees centigrade. Unfortunately, then the governments who had been thinking about this backed off. Frustrating also that we live in a world where governments are trying to decarbonize their economies to save the world from climate change, and yet You know, we are still subsidizing as a global world fossil fuels to the tune of hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. And this was left again pretty much unaddressed at the Sharm el-Sheikh conference. But also on the other side, you know, the good news that finally, after years and years of discussion, and I think to everybody's great surprise, the governments did agree to something that the developing countries have been asking for a long time, which is a fund called Loss and Damage, which is a fund that would actually pay money out to developing countries to deal with some of the shocks that they're already experiencing from extreme weather events, from droughts and floods. So I think we have to watch this space on how this fund on loss and damage will evolve over time. Hopefully it will have enough money in it, this fund, to actually make a difference to the lives of billions of people in poorer countries. So again, all these different sides to a UN climate conference. But finally, I actually left Sharm el-Sheikh feeling quite optimistic, which may sound a little bit surprising given some of the headlines that came out. But in the kind of real economy, which often we're showcasing in the TVE Film Awards as well, in the real economy, there were so many announcements at COP27. All the major shipping lines like Maersk and others agreeing to halve their emissions by 2030, be net zero by 2050 by switching their shipping from fossil fuels to hydrogen. I think that was a very solid announcement. $20 billion from the richer countries to Indonesia to phase out coal, which mirrors funding that was set up for South Africa last year at the COP in Glasgow to get out of coal. Many, many announcements on agriculture and food, glimpsed through the lens of regenerative agriculture. Another topic, of course, was part of the shortlisted films for the Global Sustainability Film Awards. It seems that now the world has got to grips with the fact that agriculture, which is maybe over a quarter of global greenhouse gas emissions, needs to be addressed through more sustainable agriculture. And I think that was a big feature at the COP. And I think when you reflect on the fact that we do need to halve emissions in less than 7 years to have a 50-50 chance of actually being net zero by 2050, i.e. meeting the aims and ambitions of the Paris Agreement of 2015, you'll see there were many reports out that perhaps agriculture and perhaps working with nature, relatively low-cost transformations of our global economy could indeed get us there by 2030 to halving our emissions. And I think there was a very powerful message coming from that fact that agriculture and nature could be our best allies to get us on track for a climate-safe future. So have a lovely evening. Enjoy the films. They're absolutely super. The jury members thought they were amazing, and I think you will do too. Bye.
The mission of the charity TVE is to inspire change for a greener, fairer world. That's what it was set up to do nearly 40 years ago. And that's what the charity continues to do today, in a world more in need than ever of that communications catalyst. I'm delighted that some of our filmmakers have been able to join us at least for the early part of this evening's event. Early because they will need to be in bed well before the evening is out. They're all aged between 9 and 11, and they're pupils at St Mary's Hare Park School in London. They are part of a TVE film competition we'll be rolling out with schools in South Africa, Brazil, and India next year. We've been working with the Geography Foundation to offer schools access to TVE's archive of thousands of documentaries, and then run film workshops with experienced filmmakers. Let's see some of this year's shortlisted films.
Electricity is being wasted all around the world. The government are trying their best to help the country, but people's waste are causing enormous bills and it is also causing climate change.
If you turn your thermostat down 1 degree, it would save you £100 per year.
Energy comes from gases, coal and other substances. Electricity isn't only costing us money, but it is costing us our planet.
Petrol-powered cars have many drawbacks. You will be charged around £150 just to fill up a full tank. They also cause pollution. However, getting an electric car will provide many benefits, like stopping pollution. It will cost less than petrol, and in 2050, all petrol-powered cars will be banned. There are many ways that people waste electricity. For example, leaving a charger on or forgetting to turn the light off. Leaving lights on doesn't seem like much, but if everyone left their lights on, it would amount to thousands of pounds, making humanity one step closer to becoming extinct. Because of us, colossal ice caps are melting, sending massive floods across the world. People are struggling to provide food for their families because of the flood ruining their crops. This is one of the severe crises of climate change.
Using solar panels and wind power to generate electricity would help prevent climate change. Instead of using light, they could use candles to waste less.
Save planet Earth!
Pollution is a health risk. It can be caused by transport that uses fuel. There are different types of fuel, like solar oil, diesel and unleaded. You can get cancer, asthma and a bad lung infection. Car fumes can cause irritating eyes and itchy skin. Only 747 people use electric cars in the United Kingdom.
Before COVID, there were lots of traffic jams in London. The cars were staying still with the engines on. This is called idling. During COVID, less cars were idling because not as many people were going out of their houses. For the first time ever, the pollution levels fell majorly and the sky was very clear.
The air pollution rates have gone down drastically during COVID because people weren't using public transport as much. During COVID, air pollution went down 38%. Right now in London, the air pollution rate of 44.6. These are some charts of
stop air pollution. Use an electric car, which is much better than petrol or diesel. If you have a wood fireplace, switch it to an electric or gas one. Even things like eating can improve the environment. A vegan diet is much better than an animal-based one. Use solar panels for bioelectricity.
You should stop ocean pollution because
This has a big impact on our ocean friends, and if this ruins their lives, it can ruin ours too.
Litter such as plastic bags, bottles, glass and all harmful objects.
Recently, litter has been thrown in our oceans and affecting the creatures, so we need your help to stop that.
There are 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic waste estimated in our oceans, and 100 million marine animals die each year from plastic alone.
Did you know that marketeer Leo Backlund first invented plastic? China pollutes 21.5 billion kg to plastic pollution.
73.1% of beach litter is worldwide plastic.
Fish, seabirds, sea turtles and marine mammals can become entangled in or ingest plastic debris, causing suffocation, starvation and drowning.
Hello, my name is Jimmy, and these are my friends Imogen and Jack, and today we're going to tell you about our planet Earth and the bad conditions about it.
Litter is a big global warming in this world, and please help us save it. In 2050, this is what our planet will look like.
Our planet is very fragile, so care must be taken by us, as we are the only caretakers of this world.
There is an estimate of 6,729 pieces of litter per roadway.
It's getting late, should we go now?
Yes!
Look at all the litter they've left. US roadways accumulate over 51 billion pieces of litter per year.
In 10 to 12 metric tons of plastic waste enters the ocean each year.
When we recycle plastic bottles, they can be made into other things. For example, packaging, bags, furniture, paint pots, and even trousers.
Litter is toxic to the animals because when they consume it, it can harm their inside and get trapped around their body.
If we work together, we can change this planet for good.
Help our planet by picking up your litter or other people's litter.
Every day I walk to school and all I see is litter and smell smoke from the cars.
Time is running out. Help us by picking up your litter, and remember, we have no planet B.
Thank you for listening. Welcome to Green Planet!
We need to stop cutting down trees. The research says that 15.3 billion trees are chopped down and only 5 billion are replanted every year. How can you even consider this menacing problem as fine? Trees provide jobs to over 1.6 billion people across the world, and a mature evergreen tree can intercept more than 15,000 litres of water every year.
Trees help us in many ways. For example, they give us oxygen, absorb harmful gases, they store carbon, produce food, protect us against floods, and many more. Did you know a single tree can be home to hundreds of species of insects, fungi, moss, mammals, and plants?
Trees in shaded places have thinner branches, but when they're in the sun, the branches are thicker. We must save the trees by using less paper and replanting them in large open areas with less vegetation. The environment will be in grave danger if we don't take action now. At the moment, we are not doing enough about it.
The number of trees we cut down far exceeds the number that are planted, and for the insects, that's their home being taken away from them. Imagine if you had your home taken away. If we don't act, then at this current rate, all rainforests will vanish. What is the problem with palm oil? Palm oil comes from tropical rainforests and is found in almost everyday things that we use. It's in close to 50% of the products we find in shops. It's in things like biscuits, chocolate, cake, margarine, and makeup. It's also found in soap, shampoo, and cleaning products. To produce these products, companies burn down forests to fill the area with palm oil plantations. Palm trees soak up massive amounts of water, which takes the nutrients away from the soil around them. Did you know that over 25% of Indonesian rainforests have had their trees chopped down for palm oil? Many animals' habitats have been destroyed.
taking part in the Just One Tree campaign and is trying to become an eco-school by thinking more about biodiversity and healthy eating. Adding to this, we are helping the environment in various other ways. For example, we have a composter, an outdoor classroom that uses solar and wind power, and we recycle all our paper.
Hello, welcome to Go Green, where we're going to show you how your actions can affect the planet.
Let's go from harming our planet to healing it. Even smaller amounts of litter like this can severely damage our planet.
When we use plastic, we don't think of how damaging each piece is.
Many animals are harmed by our usage of plastic. To save these animals, we must work together to reduce the amount we use.
Landfills are bad for our health and environment.
Water that is polluted carries around bacteria, chemicals and parasites.
This makes it unusable for drinking, cleaning, swimming and other activities.
We can prevent litter by recycling plastic correctly.
Or even educate other people about how to keep our earth clean.
Do you know how much plastic goes into the ocean every year?
1 garbage truck of plastic is discarded into our oceans every minute.
Litter is in a lot of places and soon it will be everywhere.
And small acts like this can help so much.
In fact, 60% of water pollution is from litter and not greenhouse gases.
Water pollution started affecting lives back in the mid-19th century.
We can all make a difference. If we want future generations to live a happy and healthy life, we must stop all types of pollution. In our universe, millions of galaxies. In our galaxy, only one Earth.
Let's preserve, not destroy. Thank you. Science is clear for us to see. Time is running out.
Thank you very much to the pupil of St Mary's Hare Park School in London. Weren't they wonderful? So if you'd like to be involved in funding this project, please have a word with Karma Wangdi, TVE's Chief Operating Officer. Can you just stand up for a minute, Karma? So everybody, Karma. And we do have a winning film from this year's productions. May I please call to the stage Alistair Clark, TVE trustee, to please announce the winning film.
Thanks, Cheryl, and I hope you're having a lovely evening. I mean, those films that we've seen have been a fantastic example of how we can learn from our children. I'd like to give all of them a fantastic congratulations, and if you join me with a round of applause for all of them. But at this point, I'm going to be handed an envelope, I believe. Thank you very much. Very Oscar-like. And the winner is Save Electricity. So may I request the winning team on stage, please? Well done. We got a picture of you.
wonderful award. We have so many people to thank.
We would like to thank all of our teachers, especially Mrs. Wilson and Miss Slaughter. We would also like to thank Mr. Wandy.
Although this process took some time and effort, it got us to the final product, which paid off and won us this wonderful award, and the opportunity to be here tonight with our friends Imi, Imogen and Jack.
We are so grateful for this award.
Just to say, we're so grateful for Mr. Wangdi for coming into school and giving our school this wonderful opportunity. Children are our future, and this is where we all need to be looking to see what they feel about the environment and where we can go next to help the environment. We've just had so much support. It's been such a really worthwhile project for our school to be involved in. The children have learnt so much through using their iPads. They've also taught us a lot about using iPads, because I think they know more than we do about all the technology that's to come. But I think it's a wonderful experience for them to come here and get to meet such wonderful people as well and inspire them. They can see all these different professions and how they can then be flying on into the future. But children, they've all worked so hard, as well as our children at the back and our children back at school. So thank you very much.
It's your support at evenings like this that enables TVE to run these projects. So can I ask you please, as we enjoy our meal, to have a look at your auction brochure. There's a physical copy on your table, along with a QR code for you to see digital copies of it on your phone. I'm sure you've been approached by our wonderful volunteers over the evening to buy raffle tickets. Please look out for them, and thank you in advance for your generosity. Please enjoy your dinner now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to have good conversation, isn't it? I am having fantastic conversations on my table, so I totally understand. Sorry to interrupt, and I do hope you've enjoyed your dinner. I'm delighted to say, though, apart from the interruption to the conversation, that we now move to the first of the TVE Global Sustainability Film Awards, the Greener Living Short Film Award. Let's watch the shortlisted films.
Every year, whales make some of the longest migrations on Earth, swimming across oceans to feed, mate, and give birth. These blue corridors are migration superhighways, critical for their survival. However, these journeys are becoming more dangerous to navigate, with growing threats from industrial fishing and ghost nets, ship strikes, underwater noise, plastic pollution, and climate change. Because of these dangers, some of our great whales, which have survived for millions of years, could go extinct within our lifetimes. Science shows whales help fertilize our ocean and fight climate change. Throughout its life, one whale captures the same amount of carbon as 1,000 trees. We are calling for a new conservation approach to protect whales in their critical habitats so they can thrive for years to come. Together, better managing and protecting blue corridors can help safeguard whales, our ocean, and ourselves.
Por primera vez, el gobierno nacional pone en su agenda una estrategia clara de restauración de arrecifes coralinos. Eso no se había hecho antes.
1 millón de corales va a generar acciones de restauración a 2 millones de metros cuadrados o 200 hectáreas.
Este es el programa más
robusto en términos de restauración de arrecifes coralinos que se ha visto en el mundo.
Ya hemos colocado $2.5 millones para poder rápidamente activar las guarderías y poder tener el material suficiente para poder hacer la restauración de esas 200 hectáreas que tenemos.
La técnica principal es la jardinería de corales, la cual consta de dos fases, el cultivo y el trasplante.
El proceso de la siembra de coral se hace por un proceso que le llamamos reproducción asexual, es decir, de un fragmento sacamos varios fragmentos que crecen.
Cuando se inicia el proceso de siembra y trasplante de corales, se ubican colonias en el medio natural y se le llama una colonia donante. A partir de esa colonia donante se generan fragmentos muy pequeños que se ponen en guarderías.
Actualmente funcionamos con un diseño de guarderías que es el de cuerdas flotantes, que es el más común hoy en día en este tipo de proyectos.
Trabajamos con cuerda trenzada de 3 milímetros, abrimos la trenza y vamos metiendo los fragmentos de coral al interior de cada cuerda.
Después de que nosotros hayamos llenado la cuerda, los bajamos a 5 y 7 metros debajo del agua y lo ponemos en las guarderías.
Luego se hace un mantenimiento periódico para eliminar depredadores, competidores como son algas.
Tenemos pescadores que son certificados en buceo, entonces ellos lo que hacen es ayudarnos con la limpieza de toda la cuerda y los puntos cercanos a cada coral.
Hay que tenerlos en continuo mantenimiento.
En el proceso de cultivo puede tomar fácilmente entre unos 8 a 14 meses.
En la etapa de trasplante, una vez tenemos los fragmentos listos, ya lo llamamos colonias. Se extraen esas colonias de las guarderías, se movilizan con mucho cuidado, luego se colocan en el sitio y se aseguran con cemento, que generalmente se mezcla con cica para permitir que la adhesión sea un poco más fuerte.
Lo que hacemos es meter el cemento en una manga pastelera, que lo que nos permite es sacar la cantidad de cemento que queramos y no se llene de agua. Se limpia el coral con un cepillo y sobre ese sustrato de fijación se echa el cemento. Ahí colocamos los fragmentos sobre el cemento.
En cuestión de un par de días el cemento se endurece y el coral empieza a crecer sobre él y ser parte del arrecife. Con los trasplantes uno puede ver efectos casi inmediatos. Una vez que estas colonias llegan al arrecife, las especies empiezan a interactuar inmediatamente con ellas.
Y en ese momento hay muy buenos resultados, pareciera que fuera parte del arrecife como si nada.
Entonces el proceso ha demostrado supervivencias por encima del 85 hasta por el 90%.
एक्स पोचर बुड्ढी शोर एंड इसके दोस्तों के कंजर्वेशन में मानस में बहुत बड़ा रोल है। और फर्स्ट जिस टाइम में मानस में फॉरेस्ट का स्टाफ नहीं था, उस टाइम में उन लोग प्रोटेक्शन का काम कर रहा था। डे एंड नाइट उन लोग पेट्रोलिंग करता है जंगल में। और जिस इलाका से पोचर घुसने वाला और टिम्बर स्मगलर घुसने वाला ऐसा कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन आने से उन लोग तुरंत जाके उस इलाका को मतलब सराउंडिंग का वो चेक करता है।
जोंहाथ' न'खरावबो जेबो गैया देसुन होनब्लाबो जोङो न'खरनि ओंखाम राननाय माबाखौ गारनानैबाबो जों हाग्राखौ बासायबाय नाजाबाय दिनै जोङो मोजां मोनदों नै दा दंफां लाइफां थानानै बारा गुसु मोनदों जोङो सानो मा दा अक्सिजेन माबानिफ्राय अक्सिजेन फैदों बिनि थाखायनो जोङो आरो बोरै हागौ आरो मोजां खालामबावनो सेस्था जोङो थैया सान्दै जोङो फुङाव उथिनायनिफ्राय ओंखाम ओंख्रि संबाय जाबाय डिउटियाव थांबाय बै केम्पनिफ्राय बै केम्प बै केम्पनिफ्राय बै केम्प बेफोरबायदि मावामोनबा आंनि आखाइ बायदिसिनायाबो जाया बेफोरबायदि घटनाबो जायामोन बेखौ सानो आरो गेजेर गेजेर सानो साला मालायनि जिबनखौ माबानो थांनायावसो बुथारनो थांनायावसो बेबायदिबो जादों जोंथ' गोदो मावनाय जाथायफोरखौ नै दासो भाबियो बै गावनायनिफ्राय थैनायनिफ्राय गोसोखाङो गेजेर गेजेर आंनि साननायाव जों गोदो बिदि मावनानै जोंहा गोसोआव हाबबाय जे बेफोरबायदिखौ आरो बे उजिगासेयाव नांथारला आरो मिथिना मोनोबाथ' बै फैगौ उजिगासेयावबो बेखौ मावला बेबायदि सानना लायो आरो आं
जल पाठशाला है ये एक विश्वव्यापी आंदोलन है इस पाठशाला में एक करिकुलम डेवलप किया है इस करिकुलम को बच्चों तक ले जा रहे हैं ताकि वो अपनी आगे आने वाली जनरेशन के लिए जल के प्रति अवेयर रहें उसको सुरक्षित संरक्षित रख सकें तो उन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं माध्यम के रूप में हम जैसे शिक्षकों को चूज़ किया है क्योंकि हम जिन बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं वो जिस एज ग्रुप के हैं तो उस एज ग्रुप में इस हैबिट को कल्टीवेट करना बहुत ही आसान होता है ये मतलब अपने आसपास अपने परिवार में भी सिखाने की कोशिश करते हैं और कहीं ना कहीं उसमें सफल भी होते हैं और यही इस जल पाठशाला का मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि कैसे इसे बच्चों के माध्यम से कम्युनिटी में फैलाया जाए पहुंचाया जाए ताकि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग इससे लाभान्वित हो सकें
हमने जल पाठशाला में जो सीखा हमने सब अपनी मम्मी को घर जाके बताया हमने कहा था कि अपनी मम्मी से के पानी को सब्जी वाले पानी को बाल्टी में डाल के धोवें सब्जी धुलने वाले पानी को पेड़ों में डाल दो पोछा लगा लो घर में अगर बच्चे नहीं बताएंगे घर जाकर तो सब बड़े बूढ़े बुजुर्ग लोग कैसे समझेंगे बुजुर्ग लोग तो पढ़ नहीं सकते और वो स्कूल में नहीं आ सकते तो बच्चे लोग ही बचा सकते हैं उनको उनको पानी ऐसे ऐसे बचाना चाहिए
जब मैं पहली बार वाटर स्कूल में गई थी तो मुझे लगा ही नहीं कि मैं पढ़ाई कर रही हूँ उन्होंने हमें बहुत सारी ऐसी खास बातें बताई वाटर के बारे में हमारी धरती पे 71% पानी है जिसमें 1% केवल पीने योग्य है जिसे हम दुरुपयोग करके बर्बाद कर रहे हैं तो इसलिए हमें पानी की बचत करनी चाहिए जिससे हमें आगे वाले समय में पानी की कठिन परिस्थितियों से सामना ना करना पड़े ये जो केमिकल है ना बह के गंगा जी में जाते हैं जिससे हमें पशुओं को हानि पहुंचती है बहुत सारी क्योंकि मेरे पिताजी खेती करते हैं और उन्हें मतलब खेती में पानी लगाना पड़ता है तो खेती में पानी लगाने के लिए पैसों का बहुत मतलब खर्चा होता है तो मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट जो चीज़ लगी थी महत्वपूर्ण वो ये थी कि खेती में पानी को कैसे बचाया जा सकता है
पहले हम रासायनिक ढंग से खेती करते थे हमारी बेटी ने जब हमें बताया स्कूल में सीख कर आई पहले तो मैंने गौर नहीं दिया फिर दोबारा जब उसने अमृत पानी को बताया फिर सभी जैविक पदार्थ इकट्ठी करके उसको बना करके फिर जब उसका प्रयोग किया खेती में अमृत पानी का जो हिसाब बनाया था वो हम अपनी खेती के लिए भी करते हैं जिसमें उसमें नमी रहती है उसमें पानी भी कम लगता है तो हमें कुछ फ़ायदा मिला फसल अच्छी हुई ये आपके सामने मैं अपनी बच्ची पर गर्व करता हूँ मेरी लड़की मुझको जो चीज़ बताती है मैं उसका प्रयोग करना शुरू कर दिया है
जल पाठशाला में ये है कि हम अपने छोटे छोटे बेसिक कार्यों से यानी हमारी छोटी छोटी गतिविधियों से हम पानी को किस तरीके से सेव कर सकते हैं किस तरीके से बचा सकते हैं ताकि हमारे आने वाली जो पीढ़ियां हैं हमारा जो भविष्य है उसके लिए भी पानी सेफ हो सके सिक्योर हो सके
To announce the winner for the category, may I welcome to the stage Tony Matharu, co-president for the awards, to say a few words and announce the winning film.
I think you can see something on stage right now. When I was asked to speak, I got very lazy and I said the best way to convey a message is through film. So just watch this for a couple of minutes.
We are not
wired to think sustainably. We only have one Earth, so be it forests, be it humans, be it animals, we use the same resources.
We only think of ourselves, the present day. We are forgetting the future.
इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर निर्माण हाम्रो विकासको, हाम्रो आजको नेपालको प्राथमिक एजेन्डा हो, महत्त्वको एजेन्डा हो। हाम्रो एउटा मानसिकता कि जहाँ पनि यो विकास भनेको चाहिँ ठुलो ठुलो संरचना बनाउने, ठुलो बाटो विकास हो, ठुलो घर विकास हो। We are talking about an airport that is about to get constructed. त्यो पनि 8000 हेक्टरमा 24 लाख रुख काटेर।
There's an absence of proper technical evidences, scientific research, and economic research of such a huge project, which is basically said to be having a budget which is more than the national budget of our country.
तपाईले जति पैसा कमाइदिए पनि सास फेर्नै पर्दो रहेछ। पैसा बरु छोड्न सकिन्छ, सास छोड्न सकिदैन रहेछ।
If there is no ecology, economy can do nothing.
It's an untold story, and the reason why I wanted you to see that today was because today's films will illustrate and demonstrate to you all that the power that film has. Films have the ability to put a spotlight on causes which otherwise might be omitted and missed. That particular film was made at a time when the Nepalese government had planned to build a huge airport in an area of natural forest with natural habitat. They'd built the road as you saw. 2.4 million trees, ancient forests, were going to be destroyed in order to build an airport that was not needed then, it's not needed now particularly, and it's not needed there in Nepal. But that film was an influential part in stopping it in its tracks. So I'm pleased to say that in fact that airport didn't get built. Now I know that that might be painful for some people who thought that I might bring economic development to a country that might have needed it, but it didn't need it there, and it didn't need it at that time, and there were other places. So that was simply an example that film has the ability to reach a range of people and to stimulate emotions and actions that other forms of media can't. The films that you've just seen clips of are examples of that. And so that enabled me not to have to learn or write a speech tonight, but simply to say, film says it all. We don't need to be speaking to each other, because actually what you saw on that screen, what you're seeing in other awards and the winners and the nominees tonight, for which we are very grateful, they have committed time and energy and effort in order to create a better world. And their film has the ability to reach people and places that other forms of media can't. So, without further ado, the winner is Bad Blood by Vice India.
Good evening, everyone. I feel deeply honored to receive this award, and I would like to thank the jury at the Global Sustainability Film Awards. It feels incredibly rewarding to be part of such a vibrant global community committed to creating a better world for all of us. This documentary could not have been possible without the incredible support and trust shown to me by Buddhishwar Boro and his entire community. I would forever be indebted to them. A huge thanks to the team at Vice APAC, I would especially like to thank Esha, Shonali, Manisha, and Samira for all their support through the making of this film. I could not have done this without my amazing crew, Shelly, Jaren, Mahipal, Bijit, and so many people from the local community who became a part of the production. And finally to Indrani Ghosh, whose story about Buddhishwar for Vice World News turned me to the story. Thank you. Thanks once again. Have a great evening.
Our second award for the night is the Digital Technology and AI for Sustainable Living Short Film Award. Let's view the shortlisted films.
Today, the majority of batteries used in electric vehicles are called lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are made of a number of metals that have been refined and amalgamated into the battery material. And those materials include lithium, cobalt, manganese, nickel, and a variety of other materials like graphite and copper. The process of turning rock into things that roll is enormously energy intensive. Most of us don't really make this connection between electric vehicle being good and the amount of energy it takes to physically create it. Global supply chains are complex. You're taking raw materials from Western Australia, Congo, and a variety of other locations. You might refine in China. You might be producing a battery in South Korea or Poland or North America, and then you're shipping that battery to a car production plant. It's an enormous amount of movement of materials. Quite a lot of these raw materials come from very small artisanal mine sites, people digging with picks and shovels. The conditions in some mines are very, very dangerous.
Standing on the edge of a pit and looking out and being like, where do all of these materials go? I think that is so important. So when I was working in the mining industry, it was a very opaque industry. The bad players are causing damage to the environment and the livelihoods of the communities around the mine or situated on the mine.
Circular is a technology business, originally founded in London. Our business is traceability in complex industrial supply chains. And that means helping manufacturers to understand what is going on in their supply chains in order that they can start to manage risks. The technologies that we use to do this are a combination of traditional databases, blockchain, and machine learning. The role that the blockchain plays is that it creates immutable records. Records can't be changed, which means that history can't be rewritten if it subsequently proves to be inconvenient.
I work at Polestar and I lead the sustainability team. We make electric cars. You work with your suppliers to ensure that the supply chain is working in a responsible way.
The idea is to create a digital twin of a physical commodity and then to follow that digital twin as it undergoes its journey of transformation from source to end use.
Circular's platform is shadowing what is happening on the mine site, and we're constantly checking that the data that is being provided to Circular is representing what we understand to be happening.
You're actually seeing what's going on in the supply chain, but also that data cannot be tampered with. It's a really powerful tool for fighting the corruption.
Electric vehicles are supposed to be better for the planet, and they have the potential to be. But it isn't right that something that we're relying on to make the energy transition real should either damage people or planet. And what manufacturers like Polestar are trying to do is find the more sustainable manufacturers in the supply chain and make sure that what they are inheriting is produced more sustainably.
We truly believe that we can redefine what traceability and transparency is within this decade. And that just gives me a lot of hope.
Agriculture provides the backbone of livelihoods in rural Tanzania and the foundation of the nation's economy. However, it is increasingly under stress from climate change, with a reduction in rainfall seeing areas such as Zeze face drought and crop diseases, significantly reducing overall yields. Temperature shocks and a lack of modern agricultural technology, as well as income poverty, has forced some farmers to turn to encroaching onto virgin lands, logging and burning timber. Plant Village's mission is to enable smallholder farmers to mitigate these adversities via the use of mobile phone technology. Using a smartphone app with built-in artificial intelligence software, farmers can detect plant diseases at an early stage. The new Roo app operates both online and offline where connection is lacking, using brightly coloured boxes and tags to identify disease type and primary problem areas. Cassava disease and fall armyworm, for example, common enemies of smallholder farmers, are identified immediately. Experts have been integral to the app's creation and success, consulting on different crop types and diseases to make the AI as accurate as possible. In turn, farmers are advised on the best course of action to take. With data stored in the cloud, information is pooled, allowing trends to be mapped and farms to be monitored, with soil, water and growth data collated alongside pest data. Tailored solutions and better predictions on what yields farmers can expect enable smallholder farmers to change the crops they plant, sidestepping seed abortion, for instance. More drought-tolerant crops and income diversification strategies can instead be advised, such as how to fully maximise cassava plant use. Trust is core to the project's success. Strong relationships within communities are integral in enabling the adoption of these state-of-the-art technologies and a shift in mindset.
To announce the winner of the category, may I welcome to the stage Dinesh Damager, my co-president for the awards, to say a few words.
I'd like to give you some facts about artificial intelligence. The most modern Chinese computer with 3,400 Intel Core processors is as big as half a football field. A new Chinese quantum computer can do a calculation in a split second that would take the first computer that I just mentioned 30 trillion years. In the last 2 years, there has been more data produced than in all of history. So what comes after quantum? The answer is DNA. The good news about DNA is that all the world's data can be stored in a ping pong ball. Artificial intelligence, which gives easy access to any info needed in a split second, it will be like Google on steroids. So what I was trying to say was that artificial intelligence can go into this ping pong ball of DNA and get any information in split seconds. And so you'd say, what are the facts that I've just given you got to do with this award? It's the supply chains that make up. I'm sorry, I have a couple of electric cars, so I'm obviously not doing the right thing after watching the first film. But I think that it's better than my petrol cars. So, but that's where I weighed up. But let me look at who's got the award, and then I can tell you. And the winner is Age of Change by Circulor. Exactly. So it's about supply chains, and it's how you work out sustainability. Well done. You're welcome.
So a few words.
Hi, good evening everyone. What a lovely segue into circular and electric vehicles. That's our bread and butter. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everyone at Circular who has made this happen. It takes a small army to bring traceability and transparency to some of the world's most complex supply chains. So thank you very much.
We move on now to the third award of the night, and this one is the Transforming Society Short Film Award. Let's have a look at the shortlisted films.
Unknown to the rest of the world, and in fact to most in Colombia, Chiribiquete National Park is a place like no other on our planet. The crown jewel of Colombia's conservation efforts, and a treasure trove of natural and cultural resources, Chiribiquete is a place where life on our planet finds a sacred temple. A temple patrolled and protected by guardians, human and non, for millennia. Situated in the Colombian Amazon, in the states of Guaviare and Caquetá, Chiribiquete was declared National Park in 1989. Expanded once in 2013 and then again in 2018 to make it the largest natural park in Colombia and the largest tropical rainforest reserve in the world, with an astounding 17,000 square miles, an area slightly larger than Switzerland. The park sits in the center of our planet, quite literally, at 0 degrees latitude. It is the confluence point of 3 biogeographical provinces: Orinoquia, Amazonia, and North Andes, and forms the westernmost edge of the Guiana Shield and the northern part of the Amazon Basin, considered by scientists as the most biodiverse area on the planet. Chiribiquete's isolation and inaccessibility have made possible this miracle of biodiversity. Only 8 scientific expeditions have been made to Chiribiquete, and each one has produced new species unknown to science. Its flora and fauna is indeed impressive. With 1,800 plant species, 410 bird species, 82 species of mammals, including large felines, 60 species of reptiles, 57 species of amphibians, 120 species of butterflies, and 60 species of fish, many of which are endemic. Its endless expanse of tropical rainforest also act as a gigantic carbon trap and a continental water filter, consisting of the drainage basins of the Masai, Cuñare, San Jorge, and Amu rivers, and provides 60% of the surface water of the Colombian Amazon.
Most people find it hard to believe, but I live and work in a fully net zero development. I also live in the sustainable city, the first community of its type in Dubai. We have 11 biodome greenhouses and a 10 megawatt peak solar production, and it was built to prove the idea that a wholly sustainable community is possible. So I've been a practicing landscape architect for the last 16 years here in Dubai. And over those years, I've really developed a passion for what I call a productive landscape. So a landscape that doesn't just look beautiful, but serves a purpose for growing food, creating habitat, creating shade and microclimates. In 2019, I joined Expo 2020. And Expo 2020, of course, is the most amazing place, and it has a very strong focus on sustainability. It's one of its key principles there. So it's always been a dream of mine to try and live off of one of the landscapes that I've created. Coming into my 50th year, I decided to set myself a challenge, which I call the Sustainable Human Project. The Sustainable Human Project is about eating from one of the landscapes that I have designed and implemented for one whole entire year. Essentially, it's around food that I grow or trade for with my neighbors within the neighborhood that I live in. So it's been just a fantastic learning process. And when you look at the three pillars of sustainability, social, economic, and environmental, it's really something that I've learned that you have to have all three of those in balance for a project to work. So far I've been doing really well, but for things that I can't grow, I've implemented a barter system. So like the old days with my neighbors. So what I do is I take recycled wood from the community and I create carpentry works, usually things around urban farming that I trade with my neighbors. One of the great things about this is that it brings me back to thinking about how our grandfathers might have lived. So you have to set up a system with whoever you want to trade with, and you have to really stick to your word. So you have to make sure that both parties are happy with what you're going to trade, and then if you commit to making that trade, both parties have to come together. So in a situation where I'm in, where I rely on these trades for food, it's really important, and that makes me think back to the days where people had to stick to their word, and their word was so important, because if you didn't, very important things like your food, your shelter would fall through.
काम नहीं था जी उस टाइम तो हमारा लॉकडाउन में कौन क्या करते हैं
गांव जाने का भी मौका नहीं था मन में तो घुटन सा भी होता था रोती भी थी
चिंता यही थी कि कमाने वाला तो जो था वो तो घर पे ही बैठे हैं कहाँ से खाएंगे कहाँ से दे कोई भी देने वाला नहीं था
जिस टाइम लॉकडाउन हुआ तो उस टाइम क्या था कि किसी का 10 दिन का पैसा था, किसी का 15 दिन, क्योंकि महीने के बीच में ये सब रुक गया। मतलब उनको वो पैसा तक नहीं मिला कि जो उन्होंने उस महीने काम किया था, और बहुत सारे लोगों को तो दोबारा उन्होंने बुलाया ही नहीं, मतलब काम छोड़ ही दिया। तो बहुत सारे महिलाएं ऐसी भी है कि जो कोविड से पहले काम करती हैं, पर अभी तक उनको काम नहीं मिल पाया है। चूल्हा जलता तो है पर भूख मिटती कहाँ है, हर दिन बीत जाने के बाद रात ढलती कहाँ है। सब्र सागर सा बना लिया है पर चुनौतियाँ रुकती कहाँ हैं। जो जकड़े हैं मेरे सपनों को वो बंधन अब टूटते कहाँ हैं। मजबूरी की दीवार अब गिरती कहाँ है। ये महिलाएं मतलब सीख सकती हैं दूसरा रोजगार, पर बहुत कम टाइम है उनके पास, मतलब बैठ के फुर्सत से चाय पीने तक का उनके पास टाइम नहीं है। वो 5 बजे उठती है, कोई तो 4 बजे भी उठता है, तो वो सब अपना घर का काम करके और फिर 8 साढ़े 8 बजे फिर दूसरों के घरों का काम करने के लिए जाती हैं।
सुबह निकलती हूँ 7:30 बजे, आते आते 2-2:30 बज जाता है घर पे। उसके बाद 2 घंटा घर रहती हूँ, फिर 5 बजे जाना पड़ता है, फिर शाम को 8 बजे तक वापस आती हूँ।
लॉकडाउन के समय में हम लोग फ़ोन के ज़रिए, कॉल के ज़रिए महिलाओं से, डोमेस्टिक वर्कर्स से बात करते थे, जो हमारा नेटवर्क था। उससे ये निकल के आया कि अगर हमारे पास कोई एक ऑल्टरनेटिव हो कि ऐसी सिचुएशन फ्यूचर में भी आए तो हम लोग उसको कैसे हैंडल कर सके, कैसे हम लोग उसको लेके प्रिपेयर रहे पहले से। हम लोगों ने उस पर कई चर्चाएं किए, फोकस ग्रुप डिस्कशन किया, उनके साथ विजनिंग एक्सरसाइज किया और उसके बाद पता चला कि ये जो नीड्स है ये पैसों से जुड़ा हुआ है, पैसे के मुद्दे से जुड़ा हुआ है। वो कुछ अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना चाहती है, वो अपने स्किल को इन्हांस करना चाहती है।
ये एक ऐसा स्पेस इनको पहली बार मिला है कि जहाँ हफ्ते में 2-3 बार तो सबका मिलना हो जाता है, बातें करते समाधान ढूंढते हैं। तो मतलब उनको वो चीज़ें रियलाइज़ हो रही है कि ये सेंटर हमारा है और हमें जानकारी मिल रही है, हमें गवर्नमेंट स्कीम हो या अपने सेल्फ की जानकारी हो, आसपास जो माहौल है उस सब की जानकारी, तो उनको लगता है अपनापन है यहाँ पे।
हर अपने काम को हम बचा सकते हैं अगर हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, हम लड़ेंगे, संघर्ष करेंगे, आगे चलेंगे। हर चीज की ताकत हम औरतों के पास होती है, आपको करना पड़ेगा, पहला कदम आपको उठाना पड़ेगा।
To announce the winner of the Transforming Society Short Film Award, may I welcome to the stage Azad Ayub, founder and managing director of Azad Ayub Limited and one of TV's amazing board of committed and active TV trustees.
Hope you can hear me. Well, I want to be a bit different and give you an example about sustainability, which helps in transforming society, by giving my own example of so. With the increase in the prices of energy, I found that our energy supplier, Octopus Energy, decided to increase our direct debit from 300 per month to 600 per month. So I decided I must find a way to breathe. So we took the necessary steps to reduce our energy consumption. And as a result, we managed to get our direct debit down to 200 per month. So that is my general philosophy in a very simple, simplistic kind of way, to always try and do the right thing and do not listen to or read too much to read the newspapers and do what you think is right. In my view, if you want to reduce your consumption, just have less consumption. And that is what we use sustainability, not any other super scientific way of doing it, but in a very simplistic way, do the right thing. On that note, let me try and announce who the winner is. And the winner is Road to Fulfillment, Phoenix Films UAE.
Just like to say a very, very big thank you. Thank you on behalf of our researchers. Thank you on behalf of our creatives. Thank you on behalf of our production team, post-production team, editing team, and of course, one incredible client, Expo 2020, for believing in the power of human sustainability stories, for believing in the power of being able to inspire change and to change the behavior of future generations. Thank you.
We've had 72 films submitted to the jury this year from 22 different countries. I'd like to give a huge thanks to our jury members who've donated their valuable time and expertise to select the winners. We now move on to our final segment of awards for the night, beginning with our Young Filmmaker category, focusing on films that bring to light underrepresented voices or issues. Let's have a look at the shortlisted films.
Now there's almost 98% agreement amongst thousands of scientists, which is very rare, that we may only have one generation, 25 years, to turn this around, or we'll have a runaway Earth and humans will become extinct. That's how serious this is. There's so many scientists talking about the bad news of the Anthropocene, but I see the regenerative ag story as unbelievably exciting, because regenerative agriculture has some of the best, if not the best, solutions to those 7 biophysical Earth systems.
You know, Australia is the land of floods, fires and drought, basically. So we need to have a strategy in place that allows us to manage the drought both environmentally for our landscape, but also financially.
So a key factor that's just not discussed behind all that exponential rise of all our modern diseases is what we're doing to our soil.
आज भी हम लोग एक गांव में गए थे स्वेर में, जिसमें कि वो एक ऐसा गांव है जिसमें एक सर्वे के दौरान ये पाया गया कि करीब 98% लोग पानी खरीदते हैं। बड़ी मतलब एक विचित्र बात है कि जिस क्षेत्र में दुनिया का सबसे ज़्यादा बारिश होता है वहाँ के लोग पानी खरीद के पीते हैं। इस पानी का बहुत कम हिस्सा है जो एक तरह से पत्थरों के बीच में जमा होता है या मिट्टी में जमा होता है और धीरे धीरे वो स्प्रिंग के रूप में बाहर आता है। ये स्प्रिंग्स जो हैं वो पूरे मेघालय के लोगों के लिए पेयजल का एक मुख्य स्रोत है, जिसके अंतर्गत हम लोग जो स्प्रिंग सेट हैं, स्प्रिंग है, उनमें उनका जो एक तरह से जो एक्वाफर है उसको किस तरह से मैनेज किया जा सके, स्प्रिंग को जिन जगह से पानी आता है उनको किस तरह से प्रोटेक्ट किया जा सके, या स्प्रिंग के आसपास इस तरह के कोई स्ट्रक्चर बनाया जा सके जिससे कि पानी ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एक तरह से रुके और वो स्प्रिंग जो है वो रिचार्ज भी हो जाए और लोगों को लगातार पानी मिल सके।
We are now here in Swer village. We actually came with the SPS team from Madhya Pradesh for site visit to actually make sure about the structures that is going to be constructed along the streamlines and springs.
Five foot.
5 feet का है।
ये करने का दूसरा है।
शनि
कच्चू है का एरिया।
This is here some farmer, here some farmer, maybe here some farmer, maybe some here. So if you make this dugout, then you can benefit all these farmers. So for the sustainable use of this structure, what you do, you make a group and you can purchase a community pump.
Like here now, they have actually, they wanted to make a check dam here so that it can store water. But according to the team from SPS, they said it's not possible because they can only store water this much. But if the slope is like this, less slope, then they can store much more water. So this is difference. So this site is actually like this. And plus, even if we construct here, we'll have to cut down all the trees. So it is not advisable to cut down the trees.
us first understand why the sea level rises. So we have a lot of emissions of greenhouse gases and aerosols pumped into the atmosphere, which is essentially causing the Earth's temperature to rise. And as the temperature rises, there is thermal expansion of water, which is why the level of the sea is coming up. Now you also have a lot of ice melting because of the rises in temperature. So all of that is also contributing to sea level rise.
Now add to this factors like unplanned urbanization, destruction of swamps and coastal areas, and an overburdened drainage system, and the threat to Mumbai becomes very, very real.
उस दिन जो तूफान आया, पूरे महाराष्ट्र के किनारे मछुआरे लोग की परेशानी बढ़ गई एकदम से।
Alauddin Khan is one of the 5 lakh fishermen of Mumbai who live by the coast to make a living. But in May 2021, when cyclone Tauktae hit the shores of the city, his life changed forever.
तूफान के अंदर जब मेरा बोट चला गया, नष्ट हो गया, 12-13 दिन के बाद एक एहसास होने लगा कि साला मैं पूरी तरह से टूट गया। मैं बच्चों को पढ़ाऊंगा कैसा, लिखाऊंगा कैसा। उस वक्त एक ऐसा दिल हो रहा था कि मैं पूरे परिवार को लेकर आत्महत्या करूं।
We met Alauddin at the Lotus Jetty near the Haji Ali Dargah, and this is where the sea engulfed his boat.
यहाँ का मछुआरा का आज तो वाचनी करना पड़ा। ऐसे परेशानी में आने मतलब फिर लोग सब आ गए, जितने बच्चे हैं यहाँ के समुद्र के कारोबार करने के लिए, ये सारे के सारे एफर्ट में आ गए।
Cyclone Tauktae was unusual. Compared to the Sea of Bengal to the east, cyclones are uncommon in the Arabian Sea, but that is changing. Unfortunately, this cyclone will not be the last. A study published by Indian scientists in 2021 reveals that the number of cyclones in Arabian Sea went up by 52% between 2001 and 2019, and the number of very severe cyclonic storms, like the one which destroyed Alauddin's boat, went up by a massive 150%.
Currently, when we talk, there are cyclones which are coming along the east coast of India, which usually receives more number of cyclones. But in the context of global warming and increasing temperature and ocean heat content, it is expected that number of cyclones are going to be more in the Arabian Sea.
Study after study is indicating that the timeline for Mumbai to go underwater might move to 2050 as the global temperatures continue to rise.
To announce the winner of the category, may I please call on stage actor Violet Verrigo, one of our jury members.
Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to present the award, the Young Filmmaker Award, for the best film on a sustainability issue by a filmmaker under the age of 35. As a shortlisting to remember, I got to watch every single film in this category, and they were all incredible. The quality of the work was so good that it made it very, very difficult to rate them, because I personally just wanted to give everyone top scores. So before I announce the winner, I would just like to say huge congratulations to every single film, every single shortlisted film across all categories. If you could join me and give them a round of applause. Please do keep up the good work. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank TVE for inviting me to be part of this wonderful event, which shines a spotlight on sustainability initiatives all over the world. As someone who's very passionate about the environmental and social issues affecting the world that we currently live in, I am incredibly honoured to be here, and I hope that together we can continue taking positive steps towards making the world a better place. Thank you. Now, without further ado, the winner is Changing Paradigms by Henry Smith, Australia. Unfortunately, none of the filmmakers could be with us tonight, so we'll make sure congratulations to the whole team.
The next award is the Documentary Impact Award. Let's have a look at the shortlisted films.
We are running out of time.
And there's one industry that's contributing more to our destruction than any other.
Animal agriculture is the most destructive industry on our planet.
The other day, we managed to kill proposed legislation that would have had a huge impact.
This is all we've got, this little blue miracle.
Our planet is full of life. From vast oceans to wide open skies. The diversity of life here seems infinite. But one of those here on Earth has been changing the balance for all its residents. Yet this is a story of hope. Meet the people and communities who are making a difference and showing us the way to a brighter, wilder future. Restoring our natural world and restoring our faith in humankind across Britain's wild isles.
Not too long ago, there was a beautiful village in an emerald forest.
Right now, there is a war being waged against African farmers.
From the seed is where we get our food. And if we control the seed, we control the food. And if we control the food, you control the people.
This is a crucial moment in our history. These are the seeds that we've inherited from our ancestors. In contrast, you have commercial hybrid seeds. These seeds are bred for profit.
If you grow a uniform crop, you're inviting unwanted guests.
They are not seed companies. Who are they? They are agrochemical companies. These are pesticide companies. How can we not be a sacrifice zone? It's not good enough for Europe, but we're being poisoned by an industrial food system that we never asked for.
In order to solve our health crisis, food is the answer. I don't think that we have the ability to understand the genius, the godliness, the wonder that is inside each little seed.
I believe that the greatest potential gift we have is coming from people who have been pounded so heavily. We've had genocidal practices, we're trying to get rid of their culture, residential schools. All of those things have been to destroy the culture. The only example or model we have for living sustainably.
I don't want to be the last chief to enjoy all this. I want to make sure that this gets passed down to the next generation and to future generations.
We recognise that there are adverse environmental aspects to the services we deliver, and as such, with the framework in place designed to ensure that everything we do is governed by our commitment to reduce our negative impacts. Our 4 commitments to our people, the environment, innovation and communities are underpinned by statements which are mapped to key United Nations sustainability goals. So yeah, we believe that it's incumbent upon all of us, those of us in the room and the organisations that we both lead and work for, to set an example of doing the big things and the small things that make a difference to both our local and global communities. We can all make a difference. In our respective organisations, we need to work smarter to deliver better outcomes for the planet. What legacy do we want to leave our children, our grandchildren, and future generations? And that's why organisations like TVE and Nights of Tonight are so important. They shine a light on our efforts, or in some cases, the lack of, whilst at the same time inspiring us all to leave here and try just a little bit harder. I've been pretty inspired by some of the stories that I've seen tonight, and I hope you have too. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to announce the winner of this. Eating Our Way to Extinction, Rockstar Productions. May I please invite the winner on stage to receive the
too much because there's so much to be said around climate change, but the elephant in the room is animal agriculture, and that's why it's called Eating Our Way to Extinction. We start the documentary by a 1,000-year-old tree falling in the Amazon, and basically that cycle starts with indigenous people being driven off their land, murdered in some cases, and then the forests are cut down to grow soya intensively. And that soya, 80% of it is shipped to mainly China, Europe, and the US for beef and fish and all sorts of livestock. So you can see the cycle, and it's an inefficient way of producing protein. 1/3 of all the arable land in the world right now produces 5% of our calories. So if you think about that, when people are starving and we've got a food crisis, it's not an efficient way of producing food. what we aimed for in this documentary is to tell people you can make a difference by changing what you eat. You don't have to wait for industry, government. You can make that choice. And there's lots of great alternatives out there now that you can choose from. So thank you so much.
And now to our final awards for the night. First, the Founders Award for Sustainability on the Big Screen. This award recognises filmmakers who are using the power of feature-length films to engage audiences with key issues within the UN Sustainable Development Goals, both social and environmental. Can I invite the TVE President and founder of the awards, Serena Narula MP, to announce the winning films.
Your Excellency, Lords, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you all. We must not be confused about what freedom is. Basic human rights are simple and easily understood. Freedom of speech and a free press, freedom of religion and worship, freedom of assembly and the right of petition, the right of men to be secure in their homes, and free from unreasonable search and seizure and from arbitrary arrest and punishment. This I quote from Eleanor Roosevelt's speech in 1948. I add here for my sisters in Iran and my sisters in the US. The freedom of choice of wearing what we want, having a right over our body. I'm wearing this t-shirt today to demonstrate my solidarity with my sisters in Iran. And I also celebrate the freedom of my country, that is United Kingdom, where as a woman I'm free to choose. As the founder of these awards, the one principle that is closest to my heart is freedom. Freedom of choice, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, of expression. For my sisters in the USA, I'm appalled that after 80 years of Eleanor Roosevelt's speech, as women, we still don't have a choice. The film called Jane captures this very well. Can we see?
Mrs. Griffin, your pregnancy is endangering your life.
Mom!
What's the treatment?
To not be pregnant.
That's the only option.
We could ask the board for permission to perform an emergency termination.
Is there a chance that she can survive the pregnancy?
Maybe 50%.
Resulting in the birth of a healthy child.
I'm here. I'm right here.
I vote no. Gentlemen?
No.
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 This is Jane.
How does it work?
Joy?
Yes.
Get in. No, this is not a taxi. You sit up front with me.
Oh.
You're gonna rest for a few hours.
Which one of you is Jane?
We're all Jane. We have organizing meetings. That's the address.
How are we gonna get through them all? This 11-year-old girl deserves it.
Well, this lady has cancer. She was raped.
It has to be random.
It's life or death for some of them. It's life or death for all of them.
Made my mind up.
Where you been?
Art class. Let's take a deep breath.
You got a knack for this. Could have been a nurse.
Could have been a doctor. We are entirely dependent on one man.
We can't change what it costs, Joy. It's economics.
It's interesting how economics always seems to mean that black women get screwed.
Stand up, stand up. So tell me how you ladies came to be, Jane.
My wife's name is Joy, Detective.
Yeah, you told me that.
You want to end up in prison?
I will answer any questions.
I don't want to know.
We have something that works. We are of use. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it works.
I'm not scared of jail. I'm scared there won't be anyone left to answer the phone.
I need help. I don't know what to do. This is my 4th message. I'm losing my grip. I can't tell my parents.
You have to go back.
Never gonna lose control. Never, so help my soul. Everything I do is what's waiting for.
Let's get to work.
Stand up, stand up.
Ladies and gentlemen, and the jury has selected this film for the Founders Award in the feature film category. I now invite Violet Barigo, who is the actress and singer most recently seen in The Anatomy of a Scandal. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that film. She will receive this award. She will receive this award on behalf of the producers Robbie Brenner, David Wolf, and Kevin McKee. We are delighted to win the award for Call Jane. It is such an important film and timely also with women's rights under increased pressure across the world. And now I invite Denise Parkinson, who is the Global Entertainment Director at OneFootball, has been associated with the Founders Award from its very beginning. We usually have 3 jury members to nominate the Founders Award, and I think she's been mostly on all the 6 juries that we've had. So I invite Denise to give the Founders Award in the category of full-length documentary.
Thank you so much. Can we give a round of applause to Serena Neyrula? Without her, this category would not be happening. Thank you, Serena. An amazing patron and environmentalist and supporter of film. It's my honor. I've seen this film. I'm a BAFTA voter, so I've been so privileged to see this well in advance, and the film is absolutely heartbreaking. The territory in the Amazon rainforest is getting smaller and smaller, literally as I speak. It's being reduced for logging, for illegal homesteaders. The government has been supporting this in Brazil. Let's hope that the new government starts to change policy. And the indigenous people are almost going through a cultural genocide with what is going on and what's being taken away from them. I urge everybody to see this film.
A floresta, os rios, é a nossa casa, onde a gente se mantém.
Porque o Uruê-Uauau é como se fosse uma barreira.
Tudo desmatado. Ela é, para mim, no meu ponto de vista, o coração, não do Brasil, mas sim do planeta em geral.
sonho brasileiro de quem está vivendo aqui é ter seu pedacinho de terra para poder trabalhar, né? Tirar ali o seu sustento. Produzindo alguma coisa, plantando para fazer nosso Brasil ir para frente. Eu mesmo falo, eu nunca vi nada de índio.
Fala, ninguém nunca viu, não.
É, só fala também.
E o que eu fico revoltado é que a gente ainda é considerado bandido, pessoas que atrapalham o país, entendeu?
Desce no coco, vai estar no rio. Eu vou estar ali, eu acho. Não era pra estar ali, não. Vai.
A Associação do Rio Bonito eles dizem que querem sua terra. Mas, no meu ponto de vista, eu acho que eles querem mais do que a terra. Eles querem acabar com o povo indígena, acabar com os isolados. A gente não vai permitir que aconteça, não.
Very, very powerful. To present the award, I would like to call environmentalist Byron Rose to the stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed for this amazing award. It's not for me, it is for Alex Pritz, a first-time director who has created an incredible film that is incredibly important. Just a few things I'd like to say. The Territory is the most urgent film of this or any other year. The Territory tells the story of a vanishingly small group of indigenous people. This tribe of unwavering farmers are the sole protectors of the last remaining acres of the Amazon rainforest, which is the very lungs of planet Earth. I'm nearly done, don't worry. I implore you to watch this film. Please watch this film. It has a very important message, and only through education and word of mouth, it's absolutely fundamental to staving off the issues we have with our planet. There is no plan B, and much of the time we do not in any way value the nature we have around us. So, anything is possible as long as we believe that change will happen and take positive action to support and look after our dear, wonderful planet. Thank you very much indeed.
This concludes the formal awards. Thank you to all our sponsors and award presenters. Thank you to all of you. You've been wonderful. Now we have a musical performance for you. Please welcome Francesca Matta and Emily Kite.